can tell. It's gonna be a great Noel. It's the Advent Calendar House. Muppets, Batman, Smurfs, and even Garfield's Halloween. We're gonna take a trip down memory lane. Frosty, Rudolph, and a bunch you've probably never seen. It's Mike and pals that come to entertain. Turn the knob and lift the latch for fun and laughs that can't be matched. But just beware the icy patch. It's the Advent Calendar House.
Welcome to the Advent Calendar House, the podcast that stumbled into a full-time job working for Santa just a year after he fired our evil twin we never knew about. Today's Christmas special is stuffed with surprises, so let's get our propeller spinning and take off back to 1987 as we set a course for Santabear's high-flying adventure.
If there's a place where all your dreams come true, you're never alone. You'd want to know the way now, wouldn't you, without being shown?
I am a pair of glowing eyes staring at you from inside a dark bag of toys, Mike Westfall. And joining me is the mouse in charge of literally running Santa's assembly line, but not without his missing sneakers. It's Ethan, the hungry reader. Hey, Ethan.
Hi, Mike. It is a delight to be with you again for the third time this year. That's got to be a record.
Yeah, because I was on your show twice, 2 weeks in a row, actually.
Yes, it was a delight, and I think that what we're looking at today is probably kind of completes a trilogy, because the two things that we looked at on my show, which were, if you haven't listened to them yet, Poochie and the Hug-a-Bunch, which are both, wonderfully insane slices of 80s cheese based on a soft toy. This, too, is a wonderful slice of 80s cheese based on a soft toy, and well, why don't you tell us about it, Mike?
Yeah, well, this was one you requested, actually.
Yes, I have a specific fascination with 80s creations that are specifically made to sell toys. This is one that I have a number of interesting personal memories of, and when I started researching it, discovered what you probably already know what a rabbit hole this is.
Oh, yes. I'm saving a bit of it toward the end of this, but...
Okay.
But you have a history with this special, then. Did you watch this growing up?
No, I did not. I was never aware of this special growing up, but okay, let me tell... Oh, do you want to go into the history and everything first, or should I start with my...
We can do that, yeah, because I have no history with this either. I learned about this from you.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, let's nosedive right into the history of Santabear. Who debuted in 1985 as a teddy bear designed by Paul Starkey for the Dayton Hudson department store company, which would later evolve into Target.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, the company's flagship brands included Dayton's, which was based in Minnesota, and Hudson's, which was based in Detroit. Both stores sold Santabear. And both would also sell his book in 1986, Santabear's First Christmas, written by Barbara Reed and illustrated by Howard B. Lewis. That book was turned into an ABC Weekend special, which aired Saturday, November 22nd, 1986, which I don't think I'm going to do a whole episode on. That wasn't animated. It just pans over the illustrations from the book Reading Rainbow style. Did you watch that one?
Yeah. I was going to say there's a real animated version of Santabear's First Christmas, but no. I mean, it's pretty Reading Rainbow, honestly. And I love Reading Rainbow, but but Reading Rainbow is not a Christmas special, honestly.
No.
I don't even know if there's a Christmas episode of Reading Rainbow, but if there is, bring me back for it.
Not that I remember, but this would have been perfect for it. Might have been a bit long, but
yeah.
It's a cute little story. It's about a polar bear who, without spoiling too much, is trying to help a little girl's sick grandfather, runs into Santa who helps him, and in return, Santa recruits him to deliver presents to all the animals and calls him Santabear. So there's your backstory for today's special. Santabear's High-Flying Adventure, which is fully animated. It first aired Christmas Eve, 1987, a Thursday night on CBS at 8:30, which means two things, Ethan. One, this is a genuine CBS special presentation.
Yeah?
Had the intro and everything.
Yes. It's not, we just can't understate how, the deep feeling you get in your guts when you hear that little drum solo and you're like, oh man, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for all week.
Yeah, for real. For real. And they would hype it up and everything. So it was appointment television. And two, Tour of Duty would not be seen that night. Did you watch Tour of Duty?
Tour of Duty?
It was a drama about a platoon in Vietnam. My brother and I watched it all the time for some reason, but...
Wow. Completely passed me by. I mean, I can't tell you what I was watching in 1987 apart from, Alf, which was, sometimes seen either.
Yeah, no, Tour of Duty, for some reason, my brother and I got really invested into that show. It might have been the music because it was all just like the best hits of 1968, which our dad raised us on, so...
And here I thought you were going to be like, oh my God, was it like cop rock for Vietnam?
No, it was just like a standard drama. Notably, the platoon captain was played by a young Kevin Conroy.
Oh, wow.
The future voice of Batman, yeah. But anyway, what kid is up watching TV at 8:30 on Christmas Eve night? I sure wasn't.
No, that's when you should be, sitting in front of the fireplace with all the presents wrapped, sipping cocoa.
Right.
Possibly leaning on your big nebulously stuffed tiger, and... just like, enjoying the brief remaining anticipation.
Yeah, if you're even still awake.
But I guess some kids just aren't built that way.
I guess not. But if you want to watch this, a copy of the VHS is on the Internet Archive. I found a copy of the original broadcast on YouTube with 1987 commercials, so I watched that.
Oh, well, I missed that. What were the good commercials?
Well, it ends with the... an ad for Cinnamon Toast Crunch, which had a giveaway where you could win a Santabear and his plane.
Yeah, that is one of the two things that I knew Santabear from was the Cinnamon Toast Crunch ads. Now, this is like several generations of Cinnamon Toast Crunch ad back, before the crazy squares and before it was just Wendell, back when there were three guys.
Yeah.
And some live action children.
Right. Yeah, I remember. Like one of them was just named Bob and the third one was named Kello or something with a Q.
Kello? What the hell?
Or Quello. It was something with a Q. I'm like, that's so random. And then they went away forever. They never named them. I don't remember them ever introducing them by name until it was just Wendell by himself. Oh, the other guys, they got future endeavored.
Don't check Wendell's basement.
Oh, no. But Santabear's High-Flying Adventure, we open on a snowy night in the forest. We're following one spinning snowflake as it lands on and gets brushed around by various animals. I thought this was a really well-animated opening.
Yes, it's very evocative. I was really taken aback by what a very specific 80s idiom this is. It feels like there's this certain kind of upscale mall feeling to this one. It's the same feeling I got when I read the original book of the Polar Express.
I have that same note. It reminded me of the part of the movie The Polar Express where the ticket flies out the window and gets tossed around in the wind before making its way back into the train. It has that same feeling.
I think it's the nicely serifed credits that made me think of the Polar Express, actually.
It could be, yeah. And all of it's set to music to a song called Out of the Blue.
Out of the blue, something deep inside of you.
It's one of two songs in this special written and performed by Felix Cavalier of the band The Rascals.
Well, other songs we know The Rascals for.
A good love. And it's a beautiful morning.
Oh, I know all of them. Okay, great.
Mm-hmm. And a bunch of others. But those are the two that I'm going to sing. And I'm sorry. But this snowflake we follow ends up rolling into a giant snowball that picks up our hero Santabear and rolls all the way down to Santa Claus's workshop. just crashes into the front door, and we see his little white paw emerge from the pile of snow and knock on the door, which is answered by a pair of elves who seem very unamused to find him just in a pile of snow at the front door.
Santabear.
Look what I found.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about this special is that everyone seems very impatient with the title character.
Yeah.
There are times when he says something, and even Santa Claus will make this completely done expression.
But the voice of Santabear surprised me. It's Bobby McFerrin.
Yes! And I think he's kind of wasted here. He has such talent that they're kind of really not using.
No, I mean, he does sing later. He's got to sing, but not enough, I don't think.
And he never gets to scat.
No, he never gets to scat.
I really don't think that this was written for him. So
maybe not.
I wonder who they had in mind.
Yeah, and this was before Don't Worry, Be Happy blew up. A few months before, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
The album it's on, Simple Pleasures, didn't come out until March 1988.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then Don't Worry, Be Happy wasn't a single until the summer, I think.
So, wow, they just picked up this, the equivalent of a rando that nobody had heard of. And
I guess so. I mean, he was an established musician.
Oh, yeah. And, he is multi-talented.
But he didn't, soar into the stratosphere until after this.
Yeah.
So Santabear shows these elves something he found. It's a tiny pair of red sneakers. And the elves are like,
You mean? You've been out in the snow all this time?
On the eve of Christmas Eve?
When we're as busy as can be.
And that's all you've got to show for it?
So it's the 23rd. While we're as busy as can be, and that's all you've got to show for it, what is Santabear's job?
We were told in that last book that it's to deliver toys to the animals.
Right. So...
Or is it toys?
Deliver presents to the animals. I don't know.
I mean, I've never seen like a squirrel pushing a train back and forth in the dirt, but
I've seen a chipmunk do it.
Oh.
But Santabear tells him it may not look like much to you, but it does to someone who lost them. And it turns out these sneakers belong to a little mouse who helps turn the toy assembly line's conveyor belt by running on the bottom of it.
Yes, he's one of about 10 mice doing this in a row.
Yeah, Santa's workshop runs on mouse power.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they have electric lights.
Oh no!
Wait, let me skip forward because I know Santa turns out the light. But does he blow out a candle?
He's got a farm of eels somewhere.
Oh yeah, he does. There is a candle there.
Oh,
okay.
Is there a candle? Okay, all right. Yeah. The eels are off the hook. Yeah, we see a group of these mice keeping it moving, but this one mouse is on the floor holding their aching feet, and Santabear gives them their tiny sneakers.
Nice sneakers, oh boy. Much obliged, Santabear.
I believe this mouse is voiced by Glenn Headley, who'd go on to play Tess Trueheart in Dick Tracy.
Oh, wow.
You might also know her from Mr. Holland's Opus and Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, but she will always be Tess Trueheart to me.
Wow. That's a working actress.
Yeah. I don't know who's voicing the elves. There are only 4 voice actors credited in this.
Yes.
Well, IMDb listed a 5th. IMDb claims Dennis Hopper's voice is in here somewhere. I did not hear Dennis Hopper anywhere in this. I don't know how his name got on there.
Who would the Dennis Hopper be? Would he be one of the Penguins?
Maybe, but don't they have thick British accents?
It'd be really funny to get Dennis Hopper and tell him to do a thick British accent.
Yeah, I have no idea how his name ended up on IMDb for this movie. The 4 names listed in the actual special all have fairly easily identifiable voices, including Santa Claus himself, who has been watching this whole exchange and also thanks Santabear.
Yes, indeed, Santabear. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Santa Claus.
All right, everybody, back to work. It'll be Christmas before we know it.
Santa Claus is voiced by John Malkovich.
Malkovich.
Yeah, right? Or maybe John Malkovich is controlling Santa from the 7.5th floor from some building. I don't know.
what do you think of this Santa? I have thoughts on this Santa.
He's using a very gentle voice. He's not, I don't want to say overacting, but you think of how Santa speaks, and I often think of Santa projecting more like, I'm Santa Claus, Merry Christmas. And this is the complete opposite of that.
Yeah, this is the Santa who tiptoes past your bed.
Mm-hmm.
This is the least jolly Santa I've seen in anything. He is, very serious all the time and has this kind of warning tone to his voice, like, Santabear, I need to tell you something very important.
Right.
Yeah, he sounds like this is a Santa who needs to sit you down and explain that your mother and I have not been happy for quite some time.
No. And yet there's still a gentleness to it.
Yes.
But it's hitting both of those notes at the same time, which is wild coming from John Malkovich. Especially in John Malkovich's filmography, this is right after Empire of the Sun.
The man's an actor's actor. What can you say?
Indeed. But he just sounds like a dude here. Okay, everybody, back to work. It's not bad. It's just unexpected. I would like to see John Malkovich play Santa now in his 70s.
Yeah. He was a much younger man, so this is one of the youngest Santas I've seen, one of the soberest Santas I've seen, and definitely one of the skinniest.
Yeah, he is. He does have a skinny frame in this.
Yeah, this looks like one of those figurines of like Santas of the world that they would have a display of.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Especially because he has the little trims of holly berries in his hat. That is such an interesting touch.
Yes, he does. I did like that touch. Yeah, like he almost looks like a nutcracker. And then while they're working in the workshop, he and Santabear and all the elves gather for a photo. They're in the elves' bunk now because we see several of them having a pillow fight in the background, and they all have their bunks are kind of carved into the wall.
Yeah, they all live in cupboards, but Santabear, lucky, gets his own bed.
He gets this giant bed that's made. It's like the California King for a tiny polar bear cub.
Yeah, it looks like Ernie's sheep were about to carry him out the door.
Yeah, it does. And their bunk also has a wall full of framed pictures of Santa's crew from every year, and Santabear notices in one of the other pictures is another snow bear who looks exactly like himself. Well, sort of. The bear in this photo is wearing a pork pie hat and a jacket, and he's got an angry scowl on his face.
Hey, it looks like one of the Blues Brothers.
He does. Yeah. But Santa tells him,
Santabear, you and the bear in this picture may look alike, but you are not at all alike.
And he proceeds to tell him the story of Bully Bear. Or as Santa refers to him, my mistake. Oh, you have my attention now.
I mean, you could have maybe guessed that he wasn't the right hire from the name, but...
Apparently Santa did it. Well, he says he goes by the name Bully Bear, so who knows what he was called before he started going, I'm going to be called Bully Bear now.
No, it's just a nickname.
The way he says he goes by the name Bully Bear, so did Bully Bear decide to name him that, or did Santa decide to name him that?
Huh. That's a curiosity there. I mean, what could bully be short for? Bully pulpit? Bulletin board?
Yeah, but when Santa offered to give Bully Bear the chance as one of his helpers, Bully Bear tried to steal every last Christmas present for himself, so Santa says he asked him to leave, and says Bully Bear told him he'd get his revenge and find a way to make everyone stop believing in Santa. So he warns Santabear, if you ever see him or anything suspicious, you come tell me right away.
So this really hooks you right away, is that, Santa... I never imagined Santa having his own Starscream before.
Really? That's exactly what this is. He's Starscream. But before Santabear drifts off to sleep in his big comfy bed, the mouse whose shoes he found peeks out from behind his pillow and asks him to sing him a lullaby, and he starts to sing one because you don't hire Bobby McFerrin not to sing.
Yes. In a very Bobby McFerrin falsetto.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, it's great.
The world can be so very wide, can make you feel so small inside.
But he says the song's not finished yet. He says it's a song he's still trying to make up as he goes. But it's enough to get everyone to sleep as we go to a commercial break. Oh, here's where I wrote the commercials that were in this. It's 1987, so we got some big ones. We got the Oreo one with Santa.
Who's that kid with the Oreo cookies?
We got the holiday chocolate M&Ms.
Oh, they're red and green.
Now, about my list, we got Wild Puffalumps.
Yay! Wild Puffalumps, I hear that they're wild!
They sure are. And, of course, the Doublemint twins.
A double pleasure's waiting for you.
Wow, we haven't seen them in a long time, but they're still an icon of advertising.
Absolutely. But when we return after those messages, the elves are packing up Santa's bag when Santabear notices a pair of beady eyes staring out of the bag. He calls for Santa, but barely. Well, I mean, he's a bear, so how else do you expect him to do it? But it's not a very loud cry for help. Just loud enough for Santa and some other elves to rush over.
Help! Santa Claus, hurry!
Yeah, it sounds like he's afraid of blowing out the microphone. Santa, come quick!
Yeah. I'm a musician. I know what happens when I yell on the microphone. Santabear says whoever's in that bag has eyes just like his, so all the other elves jump into the bag looking for Bully Bear. But one elf pulls out a box wrapped in paper so shiny, he tells Santabear he just saw his own reflection.
This is where, as Santabear is waving to his own reflection in the gift, Santa's expression hardens. I was expecting him to go, "You're fired," but
but he does end up laughing at it. Everybody has a good laugh at this, including Santabear. Santa Claus doesn't even give us a ho ho ho. Come on, Malkovich.
Yeah. I think this is the Santa Claus that Jack Skellington was hoping to be mistaken for.
Yeah. Yeah, they do kind of have the same frame. So now we cut to Santa in his sleigh, ready for takeoff, looking at a map that's just a circular drawing of the Earth. That's not even a full map.
Well, I mean, Santa doesn't visit every country. You know, some of them are waiting for, Yule Nice or something like that, so...
At least it looks like what it's showing is Eurasia, so that includes most of the world's population.
It is a little funny to realize that Santa is not American.
Yeah, he's from Turkey. Yeah, I guess once he crosses the Atlantic, he's just going to wing it. But Santabear's accompanying him on the sleigh. He gets to ride up front because he's a good guy at Christmas. And Santa Claus has an important job for him. He's going to deliver presents to the South Pole.
I don't think you should get polar bears established at the South Pole. That could be bad for the penguin population.
Calls it a lonely place. Yeah, because nobody lives there. Well, people live there, but not permanently. They're all scientists living in research centers.
You have to deliver presents to all 30 residents of the South Pole. And they live on the rim, so it's going to be a long walk.
That's right. But I looked it up. About 4,000 to 5,000 people live and work in Antarctica around Christmas time, which is peak research time there because it's summer and there's 24-hour daylight. One Christmas Day tradition in Antarctica is they have a race around the world, which is a lap around the South Pole where all the time zones meet, so you're touching every time zone.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Maybe that's why Santa's sending Santabear down there. Yeah, they're in all the time zones at once, so technically he's already late.
You see, Santabear, all the creatures at the South Pole are not so sure there's such a thing as Christmas. Life is so hard there that they don't know whether to believe in me or not.
Is Santabear about to go on a mission trip for Santa Claus? He sends him down there with his bag of toys and a parachute and...
Yeah. Pamphlets?
Yeah.
I felt a little teased when he said the creatures down there. It's like, oh, you didn't tell me there was going to be creatures.
Yeah, let's see some creatures.
Just animals.
I mean, and we do meet some creatures. Yeah, it's just...
I mean, when you say creatures, I think of bug-eyed monsters.
Of course. No, he's talking about all creatures, great and small. And forget what I just talked about there about only being research centers at the South Pole. Santabear spots a whole village in the distance with smoke coming from chimneys. Well, some of it's coming from chimneys. One plume of it's coming from a small grounded airplane. And someone underneath the plane working on it starts singing the same song Santabear sang to that mouse as a lullaby that he told him he was making up.
The world can be so very wide, make you feel so small inside.
You never know where this special is going. It is as unpredictable as Poochie.
It's very weird. Yeah. He told that mouse he was making up that song. Hey, mouse, here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry, I'm done. This plane's at the bottom of a hill, so Santabear excitedly puts down the bag of toys, slides down the hill, and asks whoever's singing how the rest of that song goes. And the singer sassily replies,
Who wants to know?
And after Santabear introduces himself, she emerges from underneath the plane to reveal it's another polar bear. This bear's name is Missy, and she is voiced by Kelly McGillis, Charlie from Top Gun.
Oh.
So Kelly McGillis also narrated Santabear's first Christmas, so she has some sort of connection with this whole thing.
Yes.
And that was her next credit after Top Gun, so this story must be very important to her.
Or she had a very ironclad contract to be involved with any Santabear-related ancillary stuff.
That's right. Well, Santabear introduces himself as an official Santa's helper, and upon hearing that, Missy tells him he's in the farthest place from Christmas in the whole world. But that's why Santabear's here. He was on his way to deliver presents, but he got sidetracked by the sound of her singing, quote, my song.
Your song? I made it up.
That's impossible. I made it up.
But Santabear insists he made it up, and at this point, I'm wondering if we might have a Dennis the Menace situation here.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
You're right. Yeah. Now I was imagining Dennis and Margaret having an argument, but I was like, oh no, you mean the two Dennis the Menace? Dennis is the Menace.
Yes, Dennis is the Menace. You had two unrelated comic strips, both named Dennis the Menace, debuted on the same day in 1951. One in the States and one in the UK, and somehow that is completely by coincidence.
Yeah, they really wanted to sue each other, but they were like, man, they were even created the same week.
Right.
So they're just like, okay, there's no getting around it. And that's why Dennis the Menace UK is referred to as Dennis and Gnasher in the United States.
Oh, okay.
And you would think that Dennis the Menace would be called Dennis and Mr. Wilson in the UK, but no, they just call it Dennis!
Dennis!
with an exclamation point.
Oh, my dad's name is Dennis. I might have to inform him of that fact. I didn't know that.
Dennis, want to play tennis?
I mean, the rhyme's right there, I guess. So it's one of those things that you could easily come up with at the same time as someone else. But this song they're singing is clearly the same song with the same melody. And instead of fighting about it, they just start singing it together.
Well, they were kind of fighting about it. They were, doing that thing where they hunch and turn away from each other.
I mean, it was half flighting. It was half flirting.
Yeah. I thought they were going to do that thing where they you stay on your side and I stay on mine. Fine.
Right. Yeah. Just a couple of Zacks. But they start singing it together, just perplexed as to how each of them knows the song without having ever met.
You know that I will always love.
Will always want to be part of.
Maybe I should have done Santabear's First Christmas before this, because at the beginning of that book, we find out Santabear gets separated from his family and floats away on a cracked iceberg. And you can figure it out from there, but they never circle back to that. They just except that they both know the same song. Cool.
Yeah, it is a completely dropped plot point, and I feel like it leads to a plot hole in this story, but we'll get to that when we introduce our antagonist.
Yeah. It's not important how they both know it now. There are more important things to worry about, like the fact that Santabear left a sack of toys at the top of that hill he slid down, and suddenly, out from the bottom of the bag, rips a pair of white paws that starts running away.
Like, oh, wow, it's a Christmassy Goomba.
It did look like a Goomba. Santabear tries to chase it down. Meanwhile, Missy gets her plane started and gives Santabear a lift, and the real high-flying adventure has begun.
Yeah. Missy's whole thing is that she's a pilot. I wonder how often that comes up later.
Not enough.
I mean, not just in this movie, but in the grand history of Santabear, which, like we said, we'll get into.
Yeah. The flight's off to a bumpy start. It seems Missy didn't quite fix the plane back in perfect working order, so she's got to take out a screwdriver and fix something while she's flying. I liked it while they're up there. Santabear yells, "He's headed south," and Missy replies, "Yeah, that's the only place you can go around here. You're at the South Pole."
Actually, isn't north the only way you can go at the South Pole?
Oh, that's true. Well, they aren't. They haven't quite made it to the geographic pole yet, I guess.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But also, as they fly over the village at the South Pole, Santabear asks if that's where Missy's family lives, and Missy explains she has no family. She's an orphan, and neither of them pauses to think about what this could possibly mean regarding how each of them is a polar bear of about the same height who knows the same song and thinks they wrote it.
Do we need Yoda to come in and say, "No, there is another"?
We might. No, they're too focused on catching that runaway bag of presents, which Santabear does, but as it tries to break free from Santabear's grasp, it ends up sending the airplane into a spin, crashing into a snowbank. First, we see Missy unconscious in the plane, but then we pan over to Santabear, who gets up for a second before collapsing back onto the ground. Then the occupant of the bag breaks himself free, and of course it's Bully Bear, with that trademark up-to-no-good scowl he makes with his eyes under that pork pie hat.
and he walks toward Santabear with this, looking like he's about to slug him, but instead he just pulls out his poster and says, "Allow me to introduce myself." I love how smug every word he says is.
Yeah.
Maybe Billy McFerrin isn't as wasted in this because he is both Santabear and a Bully Bear, and he makes them both very individual.
Yeah, they're both distinct voices. He uses an old-timey gangstery version of the same voice.
Yeah.
Allow me to introduce myself. Bully Bear. Pleased to make your acquaintance. You followed me all the way from the North Pole, didn't you? You hid in the sack. I must say, although I'm used to traveling first class, this trip is turning out to be worth the trouble.
And boy, is Bully Bear slick, while Santabear points at him, putting everything together like, "You followed me all the way here, didn't you?" Bully Bear swipes his hat and his scarf right under his nose, just switches outfits before Santabear even realizes what's going on.
This is why it's important to wear a more elaborate outfit, also because the South Pole is very cold.
Yeah, yes. Well, he's a bear, but Santabear asks why he's doing it, and Bully Bear simply says, "Revenge." Takes out a whistle and blows it, then says the only thing worse than getting no Christmas presents is getting broken ones. And that's what he plans to do instead of just stealing them all this time. He's going to break them, then deliver them, and ruin Christmas for everyone.
I'm curious what the second part of this plan was. Was he going to give them back to Santa so Santa could deliver them? Or was he going to deliver them himself by hand? Was he going to pull the clothes switching thing on Santa? He might be swimming in that suit.
I don't know. It seems like he was about to go down chimneys later. So it looks like he was going to take this up himself. But then he ties up Santabear, sticks a bow over his mouth, and pins the wanted poster on him. There was a wanted poster he was holding. literally gift wrap Santabear for the local law enforcement, which is a flock of penguins in constable helmets. And remember, they just swapped outfits, so these penguin cops think they've got Bully Bear.
Yeah, Missy gets out of her helicopter and she really looks differently animated here than she was before. So they must have gotten someone else on a different team.
She does, yeah.
She's got a bit of that Glenn Kennedy look to her, so I expected her to do the kick dance.
She also thinks this is Bully Bear. Even as Santabear tries to explain what happened, they just stick the bow back on his mouth. Notice Bully Bear slinking away with that bag without a word and just assume,
looks like that Santabear fellow recovered his stolen goods and went on about his business.
That's a witness, you dummies! Well, it's not. That's the thief. But then they don't even bother holding him for questioning. They've seen enough.
Clearly, he's got what he wanted. Look at that crooked, jerky smirk on his face.
That's right. Look at how happy he is.
Listen to that evil laugh of joy.
But it turns out the real Santabear did manage to recover one present, and it's for Missy. The penguins take it and give it to Missy, who coldly agrees to help them any way she can. In that short amount of time, her heart shattered.
She had one shared song and an exciting plane ride with somebody, but you know what? People have fallen in love for much worse reasons.
Oh, that's true. Then we pan back over to the framed Santabear looking devastated with a bow over his mouth as the words, "We will return to Santabear after these messages" appears over his face.
And if this was in 1987, it would have been the right time to have the weird commercial bumpers that separated things in the Pee-wee's Playhouse era with the creepy chattering palette and printer and stuff.
Oh, I wish this was a Saturday morning cartoon, but it's just that title card. No music behind it or anything. It was just a freeze frame of Santabear looking devastated with, "We will return to Santabear after these messages," with the quotation marks, like we're supposed to imagine someone saying that.
One thing about these holiday specials that I really love is how the announcers are kind of forced to announce a slogan that they're not really prepared for, and there's have to say something like Santabear's high-flying journey is brought to you by Oreo. Oreo, unlock the magic. Something like that.
Yes. Sponsored by McDonald's. Ronald and friends will have a good time at a great place. Hey, line.
And now, these messages.
What can we leave for Santa?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
That's great.
We sprinkle cinnamon and sugar for a homemade taste. Part of this complete breakfast.
Happy holidays from Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Santabear Express.
It's Santabear, Miss Bear, and their airplane. You could win all three. Look for a winning card in specially marked boxes of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Or to enter free, write Box 5464, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
We won!
Hey, this is TC.
And this is Jim from The Studio Demands It,
a bi-weekly screenwriting podcast where every episode we conceptualize and craft an entire screenplay based on the demands of one of our listeners acting as a studio.
From hypothetical sequels of popular franchises,
to reboots or reimaginings of films that deserve a fresh chance,
to hypothetical films that simply must be brought into existence.
Join the creative process over at studiodemandsit.com. Hope to see you there. See?
Well,
I can't see us.
Hope to hear them there?
Hope to hear us there.
Yep.
But we return to find Santabear locked up in the big house, or should I say big igloo.
The big loo, yeah.
The big loo. Oh, man. It was right there. Missy's walking back to her plane in tears after, I assume, giving her statement to the penguin police.
Yeah, they don't seem to have any actual detectives on this force, just a bunch of beat cops.
Yeah, just a bunch of penguin constables. And with tears in Missy's eyes, she starts singing her song again as she takes off.
Make you feel so small inside.
Santabear hears this from the window, and that gives him an idea. He starts singing it back.
The world can be so very wide.
And it takes almost an entire minute of runtime before Missy realizes, wait, Santabear's the only other person who knows that song that I know of.
That's true. It makes me curious. What makes us think that Bully Bear wouldn't also know this song?
Yeah, he was right at the top of the hill.
Yeah, he would have heard it, and not only that, I mean, we have 3 basically identical bears. How do we know that they're just not singing the Bear National Anthem or something?
Yeah, that's it. It's the Polar Bear National Anthem. We cracked it. But instead of explaining to the penguins, hey, there's been a mistake, this is the real Santabear, she busts him out of jail.
Woo!
Atta girl.
By ripping out the icicle bars.
Right, she unties the rope from Santabear's hands, ties the rope to the bars on the window, attaches that to her plane using some random extra jackets and scarves she happened to have on her, and she tears it off with Santabear still hanging onto the bars of the window for dear life.
I guess I assumed that the bars themselves were icicles, and
it looked like it.
He could have just breathed on them for a while to get out, but this was...
You could have. It's really cold there.
Yes.
Got permafrost for the jail. But while she's flying, she shouts to Santabear, "Are you with me?" And he calls back, "No matter what." And she does a loop-de-loop in the air as Santabear lets go, falling right into the other seat of the plane as she circles back underneath him. That kind of ruled.
Yeah. Bearnstorming.
Puts on an aviator's helmet and scarf that happens to be in the back seat. Nah, pilot doesn't need those.
Yeah, why isn't she wearing one? I guess...
No, she's got a bow. That's how you tell she's a girl.
Hey, wait a minute. Her bow changed colors, too. Was that what was in her pack? She was wearing a green bow and collar, and now she has a red bow and collar.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, she's got changed. That's her... That's her leaving the jail bow. He asks Missy where she's headed, and she says, as far away from here as possible. But he says, wait, I have to go back and stop Bully Bear from ruining Christmas. Missy tries to tell him, forget about Christmas. It's dangerous down there. Respect for trying to protect him, but as far as Santabear is concerned...
If there isn't any Christmas at the South Pole, then anyone who isn't very nice might think that they can put a stop to Christmas anytime, until there isn't any Christmas at all, any place in the world.
Yeah, I mean, somebody might try to steal Christmas, or, we could have a Christmas that almost wasn't.
Oh, no. But I thought that was kind of a powerful message that I wasn't expecting from this, and it doesn't have to be about Christmas. Never let any sort of bully think that they can stop your joy. Thank you, Santabear.
Yeah, damn right.
And it's enough to convince Missy to turn around the plane, and we cut to Christmas Eve night in the village at the South Pole, looking a lot like Whoville now that you mention it.
Uh-huh. Except, we don't see anyone who lives there. Is it all penguins, do you think?
It might be. Those are the only other creatures we see.
Are there South Elves?
No, that's why Santabear's there.
That's right. It makes me wonder, because have you ever... I wonder if this is the first thing to feature multicultural elves, because there was a black elf at Santa's workshop.
I don't think so. 1987 seems really late for that, but a lot of things seem really late.
Yeah, what they say about the arc of the moral justice, pretty long.
Oh yeah,
but the idea of elves with different national origins makes me wonder. Are you an elf, or are you some other mythical house friend from your location? Like if Santa had a Scottish elf, would it actually be a Kilmoulis or something?
Oh, maybe. Maybe we're just calling them elves because that's what we call the hidden folk.
Yeah. I mean, and Santa is one of them, right? A right jolly old elf.
He's a right jolly old elf. That was how he was first drawn after that poem. But right now, as we see this village on Christmas Eve night, we cut to different angles first. An ominous stealth music to show us all's quiet around town.
Yeah.
Then we cut to Bully Bear, still dressed as Santa Bear, ready to enact his plan. He hasn't even started breaking the toys yet. He could have just jumped on the bag a bunch, but instead, he's going to savor this moment. He takes out one present, which happens to be a toy plane because these guys got a lot of practice drawing planes. They might as well throw one more in there. And Bully Bear breaks it in two with his bare hands. But before he even takes one step toward the chimney, Missy's plane flies right over him, and Santa Bear yoinks the plane right out of Bully Bear's hands.
She is a fantastic pilot, honestly. I mean,
really is.
Launchpad McQuack could never compete.
Not even a little. She even flies over him again, and now Santa Bear jumps out of the plane to face him. And Bully Bear just holds up his hand, motioning for him to stop, dangles the bag over the side of the roof, threatening to drop it if he takes one more step.
You ever read the original Tick comics?
Yeah.
I can barely hear you over the roar of this yawning abyss. Oops.
Yeah, that's exactly what he does, because Santa Bear takes one more step. Bully Bear lets go. It's a really nice angle we see from the rooftop watching the bag fall. It looked like Wile E. Coyote falling off a cliff.
Yeah, this cartoon is maybe a little over animated, but when they apply it to the right thing, it looks really good.
It does. With the bag falling off the cliff, and you see it like flip a few times as it's tumbling down, but Missy swoops in and catches the bag before it hits the ground, which I will say looks to be covered in quite a lot of snow, so cartoon physics might have cushioned it.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it is the South Pole, so that might be permafrost.
Oh, you're right, yeah. But the presents are safe. But while Santa Bear's distracted watching Missy, Bully Bear makes his escape, and now it's a chase across the rooftops until Bully Bear finds himself hanging off the edge of one, and here, an icicle knocks loose and shatters on the ground. So maybe that snow wouldn't have cushioned it.
I kept hearing Super Mario Odyssey music.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. I was too busy thinking of the opening to the 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, hopping over the rooftops like that.
Oh, TMNT?
Yes. But now Bully Bear's desperate and begs Santa Bear, if you let me go, I'll give you anything you want. But Santa Bear tells him he made a promise to Santa Claus. I've got to say, I'm glad they consistently use the full name Santa Claus throughout this so as not to confuse the two Santas.
Yeah. Also, I like when he says that Bully Bear makes this very specific cartoon expression where he pulls his whole face down and sort of lets it snap back like a rubber band.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone do that in real life, but It definitely demonstrates exasperation.
Yeah, it does. But Santa Bear's not going to let Bully Bear fall, so he reaches out his hand, and here I'm thinking, surely they wouldn't show Bully Bear yank Santa Bear off the roof and make them both fall to their doom in the cartoon for children. But yeah, that's exactly what they do. Bravo.
Yeah, I was really expecting to zoom in on Bully Bear as he goes, ha 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 ha.
But fortunately, Missy happens to have one of those big circular life nets in her plane. You know, the big trampoline-looking sheets that I usually associate with cartoon firefighters.
Yeah, I thought it was her parachute because it has straps on it.
She quickly tosses that to some convenient penguin cops who have shown up out of nowhere just in time to catch our two bears safely.
And by the way, the two bears have completely fallen out of their clothes in midair. It's like, oh, I've had dreams like this.
In midair. Like, not when they hit the trampoline, as they're falling.
Yeah.
The scarf I can understand, the hat I can understand.
But the strapped-on goggles?
No, that's a bit much.
This is just in time for Santa's arrival, yes?
Yeah, he flies overhead right about now.
He's looking a bit jollier in this particular drawing. I really like how now he has a mouth like the Lorax, so his smile is all covered in fluff.
Yeah,
he's much more Chuck Jonesy looking now.
He is. Maybe it's because he kind of has started his trip, so he's in a better mood.
Yeah.
He's got some cookies in him.
Got some eggnog in him.
Maybe he's been hangry this whole time.
Yeah.
Trying to just like, listen, I need to start on an empty stomach or I'm going to fill up.
Yeah. It's carb loading.
Yes. Is he there to pick up Santabear after he's supposed to be done? Because Santabear has managed to deliver 0 presents.
Yeah. It's like, well, you did a terrible job, Santabear. I'm afraid I'm going to have to let you go.
Yeah, but now that both bears have shed their clothes and accessories during their fall, Santa Claus has to play a game of Spot the Imposter.
How can I tell who's who? It's me, Santa Claus, Santa Bear. It's me, Santa Claus, Santa Bear.
Good on Bobby McFerrin to remember to use 2 different voices to say the same line twice so we can immediately tell which one is which.
Right. And that they didn't overlap them to make it more difficult on us.
No, yeah. Bully Bear says it first with his slight New York accent. It's me, Santa Bear. Well, Santa Claus knows how to tell them apart. He tells them both to tell him the true meaning of Christmas. And as smooth as Bully Bear was in swapping outfits, he's not as smart at waiting for the real Santa Bear to answer first and say something similarly sweet.
Yeah. No, Santa, you have to ask, would he tell me that giving is the true meaning of Christmas?
Yes. Instead, he just blurts out, something for nothing, getting presents. Womp womp. Santa Bear responds, of course, with giving presents, especially the ones you can't wrap. So Santa Claus picks up the real Santa Bear and tells Bully Bear sooner or later everyone shows their true colors. Perhaps now you can finally realize you're responsible for everything you say and do.
I really like Bully Bear's response here, yeah.
Even the things that nobody sees you say or do, and Santa Claus replies, especially the things nobody else knows about. Yeah, Bully Bear, he sees you when you're sleeping. There's a whole song about it. Well, Bully Bear's a big dumb dummy, so he tries to slink away unnoticed, big grin on his face.
Yes.
But he's not looking where he's going, and he backs into the arms of 2 of those penguin cops who take him away.
Yeah, I really like how he's, even when a second ago he was looking kind of, gee, maybe I should learn a lesson from this. And then he immediately puts on his
right into the penguin cop's arms. Santa Claus then turns to Missy and says, I don't believe we've met, and Santa Bear introduces her. Never mind that Santa had a present for her with her name on it earlier.
Yeah, who wrapped that?
But it's true, they haven't met. Santa Bear puts his arms around her and calls Missy his best friend who helped him. She shyly says it was nothing, but an impressed Santa Claus insists no, it was something all right, and you deserve a very special Christmas present. He then picks up both of the bears and tells them,
You have a family now. Ours.
And so I guess Missy is going to have to return to sell her house or something, but...
Yeah, I don't know. Well, is she even living in any of those houses, or is she living out of her plane?
Oh, they didn't really establish that, but I guess she did have a lot of stuff in the plane. She had changes of clothes in the plane.
Right. And when asked if she lives down there, is that where her family is? She's like, I don't have a family. But they all fly back together to the North Pole. Santa Claus is towing the 2 bears in their plane behind the sleigh. As we see the town below suddenly light up with strings of Christmas lights that weren't there before. Even the igloo is covered in lights as we see all the penguins standing together in a big Whoville-style circle.
And you know how hot those lights in the 80s would get, so that igloo isn't long for the world.
Oh, no, yeah. Don't worry, Bully Bear. You'll be out of there in no time.
At least they didn't use the bubble lights.
There's a sign in front of it that says closed for Christmas, but we peek in and we see Bully Bear angrily peeling a big pile of potatoes.
What is he, in the Navy?
Yeah, I don't know. That's not what you do in jail. Wow.
And we didn't mention the best character in this, the silent, sullen rat that is sitting in the jail cell with Santa Bear and later with Bully Bear.
Oh, yeah.
What did he do?
Right.
he's got a ball and chain as big as himself. I was like, man, what is this? Public Enemy number 1?
What are you in for? I tore the tag off a pillow. But that's it. The credits roll as the reindeer, sleigh, and plane fly into the night. But wait, the very end of the broadcast includes that Cinnamon Toast Crunch commercial, where you can get your own Santabear, Missy, and their plane by finding a winning card in a specially marked box.
Yeah, I had no idea there was any other way to get Santabear. I thought he was specifically a Cinnamon Toast Crunch thing. So that very year, I was in like 2nd grade, and I won in a drawing at school a huge Santabear plush.
Really?
I was like, oh my God, they got this from Cinnamon Toast Crunch for me? Oh my God. And I couldn't get over how lucky I was. And one of my best friends, the girl I kind of had a crush on, got mad at me for bragging. I've always felt bad about it. I wasn't bragging. I was just in utter disbelief.
Well, sure. Yeah, that's huge. Oh, no, but apparently you could just go buy Santabear by himself at Dayton's or Hudson's if you lived in the northern Midwest.
And if you lived in California, you could buy them at Macy's.
Oh, could you? Okay.
Yeah.
I know he did eventually end up at Macy's, but...
Yes.
But now I'd like to get back to the history of the stuffed Santabear collection because, like you mentioned, that was a much deeper rabbit hole than I expected.
Uh-huh.
So they did add that Aviator Santabear in 1987 to go along with this special.
The 2nd year of Santabear.
Right.
But guess how many years Santabear went on for?
A whole lot. I have a whole chart. So in 1989, they officially added Missy, formerly calling her Miss Bear, as well as Bully Bear.
Yeah, so you could actually get a Bully Bear doll.
Yeah.
So I guess he's still part of the story, or maybe he did his time.
Maybe. I wonder if they did a book adaptation of this special. I didn't see one.
Yeah. So is this special like a sequel to the book or the special based on the book?
It sure seems like it. Maybe they sold the VHS video with the bears or in addition to the bears.
As it turns out, Santabear retired. Santabear was officially retired from Macy's after 23 years. They were still making Santabears
in 2007. Yeah.
2007?
Yes.
Oh, you almost could have bought a Santabear during the Obama years.
Ooh, that was close, yeah. But in 1990, an entire shipping container of Santabears fell into the Pacific Ocean on their way over from China, so they're gone. Probably still down there. But they would continue making Santabears almost yearly through the 90s. There's a Nutcracker set I saw with a cute little Mouse King.
Oh, does he have 7 heads?
No, just the one.
You're wasting your Mouse King if you don't give him the 7 heads.
I know! One day. In 2001, when Dayton Hudson reorganized and became Target, they rebranded the existing Dayton's and Hudson stores across the northern Midwest as Marshall Field's, a third chain they had bought. So Marshall Fields sold Santabear for a few years before those stores were bought by Macy's, who retired the Santabear line in 2007. But wait! The original Dayton store in downtown Minneapolis reopened in 2021 as the Dayton's Project, sort of a nostalgia thing. In 2022, they brought back Santabear at only that location.
No way!
Yes. So if you happen to be in Minneapolis, head over to Dayton's. Well, I don't know if they're going to do it every year, but they did it in 2022 and 2023. And I think they had some last year. Meanwhile, in Detroit, the city's historical society had a Hudson's Holidays exhibit in 2023, which included a collection of preserved Santabears. So it sounds like these were quite beloved in that section of the country.
Yeah, they were. I think a lot of parents got into the habit of buying their child a new Santabear every year. Hey, do you have any traditions like that in your family? Like, you get your kid like a set of one yearly thing every year?
For me growing up, it was always a pack of Crayola markers.
My mom has always gotten my brother these ornaments that are called Santas on silk. Have you seen those?
No, not by name anyway.
Yeah, they're blown glass ornaments that have this beautifully embroidered image of one of the various kinds of Santas from around the world.
Wow.
And yeah, they were fantastic, and I think they stopped making them in the early 90s. So it was kind of disappointing for her to to have one less very reliable Christmas gift.
Yeah.
And of course, one of the reasons that there are 40 Oz books is because it was a tradition in a lot of families to get the new Oz book for your kids for Christmas every year.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And Santa would become a regular, a recurring character in those.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you just can't keep him away. And of course, Mr. Baum is his official biographer.
Well, of course. But any final thoughts on Santabear's high-flying adventure?
I'm very curious about all of these other adventures that Santabear seems to have been on that that did not get a special.
Yeah, I kind of wish they made that Nutcracker one into a special.
Yeah, looking at these other Santabears, I see one where he's dressed like Scrooge, one where he's a firefighter, one where he's a baker, one where he seems to be one where he's a wizard.
Oh.
And actually some of them I can't tell if it's Santabear or Bully Bear, but they all had distinctive outfits, and they all had bags.
Oh.
Bags, specifically Santabear themed bags that continued this story of what was going on. And I think they all came with pamphlets and like little storybooks.
Oh, wow.
So there's a whole lot of Santabear lore that we are still not privy to.
Yeah. Oh, I wish this would have spread a little farther around the country. Now I feel kind of cheated, but
yeah. Okay, if anyone's listening who is a big shot on the Transformers Wiki, we need you to put some of that juice into Santabear.
Yeah, let's go. Come on, Minneapolis and Detroit people. We need to know more about Santabear. I am very interested now.
Yeah. I'm just so sold on him.
Yeah, really. I'm so glad you requested this. It is a very compact special, but it manages to take me places.
It's it's one of those perfect Christmas specials that creates a world and gives so much implications about further things happening in that world in just like 22 minutes.
Right.
They're like, it's I don't know if I like this as much as I like Witch's Night Out, but it has some of those same
it's the same sort of vibe though. Yeah.
Yeah. It's always delightful to see to hear from Bobby McFerrin. I'm surprised that he didn't do more cartoon voices.
Yeah, me too. Like he did a very good job here.
Yeah, and then John Malkovich is such a strange choice, but he makes it so his own.
He is. Yeah, it is a very unique portrayal of Santa.
There's all the other Santas, and then there's the John Malkovich Santa.
Yes, he stands alone. But I'm glad at least someplace remembers Santabear fondly. I'm actually surprised Macy didn't keep it going, but I guess they have a whole parade, so fine.
Yeah. It's strange that Santabear didn't become part of the parade. I'm surprised that they didn't have him start sitting next to Santa in the parade. But.
Yeah, really. But Ethan, thank you for booking this high-flying adventure for us. This was a fun one.
Absolutely. Anytime you want to talk toys with me, I am happy to help.
Perfect. Well, if people want to switch outfits with you before you even realize what's happening, where can they find you on the internet?
Hey, you can always listen to me every week on my podcast Special Presentation with Mike and Ethan. Different Mike. Also known as Alf Will Not Be Seen Tonight. You can find us on Spotify and YouTube at Mike's YouTube channel, Bitter Corella. And if you know the name Bitter Corella from the Midnight Pals short fiction on Blue Sky, you should check them out too, because that's always fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, please check out all of those things. I was recently, well, we already talked about that, so I don't have to talk about it again. But check out the 2 episodes I was on and beyond. If you're a fan of my podcast, you're definitely going to be a fan of a special presentation. It is the same sort of vibe and the same sort of specials. I'm glad I was able to talk about Poochie and the Hug-a-Bunch movie on there because I really did not want to start my own podcast that wasn't about holiday specials. I don't want that kind of extra work. Come on. But I'm glad I got it out of my system, so thank you.
Yeah.
The links of all of those are in the show notes, or you can find this episode at adventcalendar.house. Oh, what's happening next time? Oh, we're going to be sticking around in the Southern Hemisphere for a spin. Y'all should come too. Till then, for Ethan, from behind the cold, icy bars of Igloo Prison, this is Mike Westfall saying, don't be a bully bear, and mind the icy patch. Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Always bear in mind.
Next time on the Advent Calendar House.
Down to Tasmania, come to Tasmania, we mean you!